Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do. I saw a wonderful show at the Fashion Institute of Technology Gallery. As regular listeners of this program know, it is one of my favorite places because of the interesting things that they do and the way that they present them. This show, which started in February and runs through much of March, is called Chairmania. That's a funny name. It's just a great exhibit of miniature chairs. Well, I can't take you to the show, but I did bring some of it to you, and I also brought to you today George Beylerian, who is the man with the collection of chairs. And George, I'm so glad that you came here today and brought some of your chairs with you. It really is a remarkable collection. Now, there are how many chairs on exhibit at the Fashion Institute?
254.
But that's not your whole collection, is it?
No, the collection runs like about 800 pieces.
How does one get started being a collector of miniature chairs? It's not as commonplace as collecting stamps, and it's an interesting collection.
Well, it was a dormant passion, I guess, because I didn't realize I was starting a collection. The first chair was given to me, and the second one I bought it without any ideas that I was going to end up with so many. But I never realized there were that many chairs out there. And so after the second one, nothing happened for a long time. Until I found out when I was visiting an editor, a friend of mine, Dorothy Kalins, she was editor of Metropolitan Home magazine, and there she had about 40 or more of those miniature chairs.
So you got the bug.
I got the bug instantly. And
are there many collectors of miniature chairs?
I think I've started the bug in others, so I know a few of those, but I just know I've heard of a few, and nothing of this size that I know of. So I'd like to meet them if there are any.
It's interesting because it is such an interesting collecting hobby that you've even done a book called Chairmania, which has been published.
Yes, it just sold out, the first edition.
Really?
And, they're about to reprint it now. So it has done very well. There's obviously enough people out there. Unfortunately, I consider this a design or inspiration type of book, but many bookstores put it under antiques or collectibles. And the collectible part is really not an issue for me at this point. It's nice to have it, but it's the process of collecting is a lot of fun, but what you get out of it is the message.
So what do you get out of it?
Well, I think the number one word is creativity, and the idea of seeing how much you can find and do with a simple thing as a chair.
But actually, you brought some along here, and we're going to show them. And why don't we start here with something that's very plain and very simple? It's a rocking chair.
Yes.
But it's not just a rocking chair, is it?
Well, actually, probably replicas are the least creative in the process because they replicate the things that we're used to seeing in real life, and of course they are creations in themselves. This particular collection sort of takes you beyond the classics, and it takes you into strange, unreasonable, crazy situations which really stretch the imagination. However, you know that the big size of this works. It's a shaker rocker, and it's handmade, it's charming, and there are a lot of similar ones in the marketplace. They're highly commercialized now. And
but let's look at this one. How did it all start? How did miniature chairs start? Why were they made in the first place?
I think there were various stories. One of them is that it started in Holland. It was a passion and a hobby for the rich. Late 18th century, they decided that they liked things in miniature, and somehow lots of rich people, mostly rich people, had miniatures of various kinds.
But did it start as dollhouse furniture, or did it start as salesman samples?
No, actually, the salesman sample is the next valid in the big fire in London. I forget the dates, also 19th century. Many furniture stores or storefronts were all burnt, and the history tells me that what some people did are enterprising furniture makers resolved by going around to people's homes by taking miniatures of real furniture. And so they were able to exist without having a store and with people's needs right then and there for furniture. So that's how that story goes.
Yeah.
So that's right. The salesman samples, of course, still go. Some enterprising companies make miniature chairs, and it does help. In fact, I have brought one with me.
Which one is that?
Two of them. This one is a recent salesman sample. I just got it. The designer's name is Danko, and they make this chair.
Let's just look at this one first. Now, what do you mean by being a sales? He actually takes this around?
Well, if he doesn't, I mean, there's a sales force, and it's instead of carrying the chair around to every architect to propose it for whatever projects they may have, this is a very visually feasible, realistic kind of a sample, and they can decide if they like to see a real one, because the next step is to see the comfort level, if that's an important issue.
Who makes them? Does the manufacturer actually make them in small sizes?
That's right. And sometimes they cost as much as the real chair.
Really? That's like buying babies' clothes that cost more than adult clothes,
That's
even
right.
though they use so much less material in them.
There's one in the show. It's a sample from a company called Weatherend. It's a very detailed chair, and it's highly lacquered. And I've been told it costs $500 to purchase that sample.
Really? So you pick up as part of your collection salesmen's samples?
I like to find old ones, and of course there's some in the book, in the show. I don't have an old salesman sample here. This is another one. It's a new one, and it's a chair designed by a friend of mine who's quite famous around the world. His name is Werner Panton, and the chair is made in Switzerland, Germany, Switzerland, by a firm called Vitra, and they sell them to raise money for a museum that this company has. But this is a special edition, I understand, even though there are many in this series, but this particular color is a special edition, and they give it out as a gift.
This is, of course, the ones that we've been looking at are practical, but some of them are not. You used the word a few minutes ago. You said creativity.
Right.
It's an art form as well, isn't it?
Of course.
It's people who create chairs not to be used as samples, have no practical value, but they're an art form. And here, creativity, your imagination can go anywhere that you want it to go.
Right.
They are amusing, they're entertaining, they're satirical.
Humorous.
Yeah, their social commentary. I mean, there are all sorts of things that happen, and we're going to look at some more on that. Let's get a little bit in your background. You've got a very diverse background. You started.
I haven't had a dull life. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you started. You're a designer.
No, I'm not a designer at all. I'm a merchant.
You're a merchant.
I'm a creative merchant.
And in the furniture field?
In home furnishings. I've been in the field for 30 years. I started as a retailer, and then quickly my career moved into wholesale because I started producing our own designs and our own ideas. And it ranged from home accessories all the way to furniture, lifestyle furniture. We used to produce plastics furniture, in department stores. And eventually it grew up into the sort of high-end residential and contract, which is furniture for business use.
You keep changing a lot from
I enjoy the changes.
You enjoy the changes.
Right.
Don't get get bored doing that.
That's right.
Now, you have a relationship with the Steelcase, who
Yes.
are really the sponsors of
I
this
offered this
exhibit.
collection to them. They actually acquired my company 8 years ago, and I have been a consultant to them. And so this was a gesture that we took it and put it into good use, and we traveled it through the country. It opened in March of last year, exactly in Los Angeles, and it traveled to various cities. This is the closing show in New York, and it travels abroad now.
Where will it be going after the Fashion Institute?
Well, it's going to be dormant for a couple of months until it's ready to go to Japan, and then to Europe. So that's where it's going next.
The presentation at the Fashion Institute is very interesting.
It's charming. It was designed by a Russian-American artist, Konstantin Boym, and he did a great job.
So the exhibit form changes as it moves from place to place. In other words, it's not
No, that's firm. I mean, what you see is what gets packed up and moves to the next venue.
Yes. So the exhibit as a unit, because it has to be displayed in a certain way.
That's right.
And the titles of them break them down into different categories, and you can see them.
That's right.
It's such, as I say, the next best thing to actually going and seeing it or having seen it is to have you here and show some of these. We talked about humor, and I'd like to bring up now where the people can see it, what I consider one of the very, very humorous one. What is this chair?
This is the money chair.
We have to leave it here so the camera can see it.
This is the money chair, which is a new addition because most of the chairs, all of the chairs in the exhibition are in the book. And the book represents the entire exhibition. These are new arrivals, and therefore they're not in the book. That's why I happen to have them. This was designed by Neil Small. He has the center spread in the book because every single chair he's done is outlandish, very creative. These are, as you see, the 50 pennies tubes that you get from the bank, and the
coin rolls,
the coin rolls, the Lincoln pennies, and Lincoln's face right here on the dollar bill. So this is called the money chair, and every single chair Neil Small has done has this kind of a humor to it.
Now, let's talk about this artist. He has done many chairs. Is this his art form?
No, he's just done them for me because we're very good friends, and he's a terrific industrial designer and an artist. But he does them because he's so humorous himself, and he just keeps thinking up. He has chairs, the hot dog chair and a toilet brush chair.
Now, you say he's done them for you. You have people who create chairs for your collections?
Yeah, many artists. Actually, another funny thing happened. One of my good friends and well-known artists called me up to say that his daughter had given him my book for Christmas, which he didn't know because he lives in, he's the head of the art department at Dartmouth, so we don't get to see each other, but this collection happened while he wasn't aware of it. And he sent me one of his creations. Now, this is a very highly regarded artist who's going to be having a show in New York soon. He is a collage artist, and he puts things together. And this chair, he sent it to me as a gift, and he calls it Rockin' Chair.
Rockin' Chair.
That's what it is.
And exactly that describes it very well, because
That's right.
It's a rock in a chair. But back to the subject of creativity. Now, do you acquire chairs other than those that are made for you or given to you?
Yes, sometimes.
Is there a market in there where people are buying and selling them?
No, there isn't a place necessarily where you buy and sell.
It's not like stamp collecting where there are prices.
It's very loosely organized. I mean, there are some patent chairs, from the old patent office. They're sold occasionally. They come up at auctions. But normally, I don't know of any association of miniature chair collectors like they have with bank chairs. I mean, the little bank buildings that you see in LED.
Sure.
If there is, they're having a good time and they haven't invited me to the party. But I'd like to meet others. I have things that I would deaccession from my collection. I have duplicates sometimes, and I usually don't collect sets. I just collect chairs or stools or armchairs.
Oh,
and
specialty within the specialty.
I don't do tables. I don't do the whole set. Sometimes it's irresistible, and I do keep them. But usually, I've given the pairs away. And so
we'll get to see some more of the chairs and talk to you some more. But first, I do want to remind our viewers that we're talking today with George Beylerian, who is the collector of miniature chairs, and it's in connection with the exhibit Chairmania, which has been at the Fashion Institute of Technology down on 7th Avenue and 27th Street. And so let's move on now to some more of the chairs that you have here, because you have brought some others. This is rather a large one and quite a heavy one. What is this one?
So that's a Chinese chair. It's all enameled cloisonné, and as you see, it's all enameled throughout, up and down and in and out, and it's a highly artistic piece. I don't have any reference as to when it was made. I did buy it at a show, and obviously it's a kind of a very well-crafted piece. It looks like really it looks more like one of those Indian chairs from the late 19th century. But I didn't have any enameled chairs, and so I thought it was an appropriate addition to my collection.
How do you categorize the chairs in your collection? Do you break them into groups?
Yes, that's a good question. If you take the book, we've divided them. I have two colleagues who worked on the book with me. Basically, one wrote a foreword, derived from the Times, and David McFadden, who wrote the introduction to each section.
So what are these different sections? Why don't you run them down?
We have one that's called Pretenders and Promoters, the first one, which includes the salesman samples and chairs that appear to be chairs, but they do something else, like a chair that's a box, or a chair that's a sewing kit, and etc. There's like so many, or chairs that are souvenirs is part of the promoters, and advertising chairs like Christian Dior. There's a page there which puts eyeglasses on each in the optical shops. They give it away as a present, as a window trim. So those are promoters also. So there's a large category with subchapters. Then we have Americana. So this shaker chair would have been one of those. Then we have a section called Outdoor Chairs, Twigs and Logs, made with all those, like the Kentucky-style chairs. Then we have transformed chairs, and Neil Small's chair is transformed, like this one. Right. It's transformed from objects to become a chair. Flights of Fantasy is another chapter, and that's mostly the works of artists, the one-of-a-kind pieces that artists have made, craftsmen, and they're usually very exciting. That chapter is called Flights of Fantasy, Artists and Designer Chairs. Then we have a section called Small Comforts. They're all the tufted, nice, cozy, squishy chairs and armchairs, and they're like your living room kind chairs, but some of them are very charming and they're beautifully made. The basics and classics are all the chairs that have a historical value, that have been produced, and of course the shaker would have been one of them too, but we decided to put that in Americana. So there's a section for Hepplewhite and etc. through the Bauhaus, etc.
My goodness.
And the last chapter is the most exciting one because it's called Seats of Power. And it has thrones of all kinds, and we have all the way to an execution chair at the very end.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just open this up at random and see if we can get here a picture that, well, here's a group.
These are all transformed chairs. This one is made with Tabasco bottles.
Yeah, would you lean back so that the camera can see them?
The one on the far, almost this one here, is made of cigarette wraps, camel cigarette wraps, and it's called prison art that people used to make apparently in prisons. There's one next to it is made of a doily. It's a doily draped on a chair frame. Pipe cleaners, wire, and all
transformed
types of
really from other material.
Yeah,
people do a lot of that.
It's wonderful because it gives children also creativity, how to do things with their hands and how to stretch the imagination into being productive and creative.
Here's one that I find very interesting.
Those belong into the artists section. The one on the right was a chair that was made in full size, and it was the artist was kind enough to make one for me, and there it is. Mr. Hunek is a very good artist who's got his own gallery in Vermont.
This is a wonderful book. It's got so many wonderful illustrations. I do want to also bring up another chair, which I find particularly interesting.
This is like a surreal chair.
How would you categorize this?
Well, definitely it's in the artist category, and they're really. I have 3 of them, and each one is a different color, and the artist.
These are actually tacks sticking out of the ceramic chair,
and she's molded them into the process. Would you like to sit on it?
I don't think so. I think I'm fine the way I am right now. So what is this collecting? It took you from one place to another. You started with a couple of chairs, and is there a business in collecting chairs? There are so many other passions. There are only so many collections that are traded in and out, or is this something that you do for the love of it?
Well, I fell in love with it. I happened to be in chairs. I didn't realize there were miniature chairs out there when I started, and I never realized there were that many. What does it do for me? It fulfilled a sort of a passion at the moment that sort of suddenly awakened. It was something that I adopted instantly, and it's given me a lot of pleasure. And even though my wife has complained several times, it's messing up her dining room and all that stuff.
All collectors hear that.
But it's now pretty much under order. Everything is archived properly. Most of them are stored away. A lot of them are still on display. And I think that I could have made it a business. My business is about bringing business and culture together. My business is called Culture and Commerce, and we try to develop ideas for corporations that would benefit from exploiting the world of the culture out there and some sort of a symbiotic relationships. So this would have been perfect for many companies, as it has now.
That's another career for you, right?
Well, that's what I do for a living.
No, what I'm saying about is turning the chairs into a business, but
yes.
That's the next career.
Yeah, that's trivial now.
Career.
I mean, it's done. I don't have to make money off it, but there are many things I could have done with these particular chairs.
You know what intrigues me, George, is the fact of the reactions of the people when they look at the exhibit.
Yep.
First of all, they're all labeled very carefully.
Right.
And the labels themselves add something to what you're seeing, or maybe explain what you're seeing. I'm sure you've seen this exhibit many times. What kind of reactions do you hear from people that really turn you on, that make you proud of what you've got?
Actually, I have to admit that I haven't really observed the crowds because each time it's in a city, I'm rarely there. I'm there for the opening. Most of the people at the openings are friends of mine who've been drooling over it and admiring it, waiting for it to happen. First the book came, and now the show. But usually I hear the crowds
I hear the reactions.
Unbelievable. The director, Dorothy Globus, has been telling me that daily. People are just putting their noses against the glass windows.
And kids and the children love
Yeah.
it. It's a great attraction, and the way it's displayed is such that you really can spend the time and look at it, and it's at the right level too, which I think is very, very important.
Yeah.
Too often you have to bend down to read the labels, but here they're
it's
at a level where you
it's
can
wheelchair
read.
level.
People must look at you when they see these and say, chairs? How did you get into chairs? And do you get a reaction like that from people and say, why this hobby? Why not something normal like butterflies or
What makes why butterflies being more normal?
Well, that's exactly the point that I'm making.
No, I think that I think what makes this maybe the impression it has is it's a little bit unexpected. There haven't been too many miniature chair collectors, although in the last 3 years you see them everywhere. I mean,
you do.
Fakes and not fakes, but sort of nouveau miniature chairs, and you see them in florists, promotions, etc. But I think the fun is now to somehow purify the collection and get only the wonderful pieces that have either historical value or that will have a historical value, or are exemplary pieces that communicate a message, whether about creativity or whether about...
You have so many of them now. I guess you're more selective now in what you do to add on to your collection. And but it's interesting that people are giving you chairs all the time.
Yes, some of them with very good intentions, and I appreciate the fact that they do. And
well, I appreciate the fact that you came here and shared your Chairmania with us, and it's been wonderful having you, and thank you very much.
Thank you for asking.
My guest today is George Beylerian, who is the brilliant collector of miniature chairs. Wonderful exhibit at the Fashion Institute of Technology. It's been a great experience to learn more about it, and I hope that you enjoyed it too. The name of this program is The Way to Go, and I'm Norman Liss. Until next time, enjoy yourself.